You ever get that feeling when you wake up in the middle of the night and something just feels wrong? Like you're not alone. And you can't explain why, but you know that something's there with you. Well, that's how I felt. Look, I'm not here to tell you some made-up ghost story. This happened to me. Trust me, it's not something you want to experience. And let me tell you, you don't want to know what happened next. So, I'm Daniel, and until not too long ago, I lived with a guy named Marcus. At first, everything seemed fine. He was pretty quiet, a bit awkward, but nothing that screamed red flags. He answered my roommate ad, paid rent on time, and pretty much kept to himself. Seemed perfect, right? But you know what they say about things that seem perfect? They usually aren't. It started small, really small, like little oddities that you'd brush off at first. My bedroom door would be cracked open when I knew I'd closed it. The air would feel heavy sometimes, like something was just off. And there were these times I'd wake up and feel it, like someone was watching me. But whenever I'd turn around, nothing. At first I told myself it was nothing, just my imagination playing tricks on me. But then the smell started. I remember it clearly. It was a Tuesday. I'd just gotten into bed, pulled the covers up, same routine every night. But then I noticed it. The sheets didn't smell right. It wasn't a bad smell. It was more like metallic mixed with something that wasn't mine. Sweat, but wrong. I couldn't shake it. But even that was nothing compared to what came next. It was a Friday night, just after 3 a.m. I just started to drift off when I heard it. At first, it was just a soft rustling sound like fabric brushing against the carpet. Slow, steady. Then came the whispers. Low, guttural. I couldn't make out the words, but I could feel them. They were real. I froze. My heart was pounding so loud, I thought it would burst right out of my chest. And then, I felt it. Movement under my bed. The bed frame creaked like something heavy shifted beneath it. I couldn't breathe. My whole body went cold. And then, it shifted again. Slow. Too slow. Like it was waiting for me to notice. I didn't know what I was expecting, but it sure wasn't this. There, just inches from my arm, a hand. Pale, almost gray. Long fingers stretching out from under the bed. I couldn't breathe. My heart was slamming in my chest, and I felt like I was frozen in place. And then the fingers curled, slowly, like they were inviting me closer. I don't know how, but I managed to scramble backward, almost falling off the bed. I turned off the flashlight for a second, trying to clear my head. Then I turned it back on, praying it was just my mind playing tricks. That's when I saw it. A face. It was Marcus, or at least it looked like him. His face was too pale, his eyes way too wide. They were glowing like something unnatural in the dark. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Just a whisper so quiet it felt wrong. And then he spoke. "Sorry if I woke you. I just like to be close sometimes." I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But all I could manage was, "What the hell are you doing under my bed?" He blinked, like my question confused him. And then, in the creepiest whisper, like it was no big deal, he said, I've been sleeping here for months. I don't even remember what happened after that. All I knew was that I had to leave. I ran out of that apartment so fast, I didn't even think about my stuff. I slammed the door behind me and didn't stop running. My hands were shaking too bad to call anyone, but somehow I made it to the parking lot. I didn't stop until I was far enough away. But the weirdest part? The next day, when I went back, I wasn't going in alone. I grabbed my friend Nate, and we brought a baseball bat. I wasn't going to be caught off guard again, but when we got there, Marcus was gone. His stuff, everything, was gone, like he'd never even been there. The apartment felt empty, too empty. I searched every room, every corner, nothing, no trace of him. But then, I found something. A note scribbled hastily in a shaky hand. It said, "I'll always be close, Daniel. You'll see me again." I moved out that same day, packed up, left everything behind. I didn't care about the lease. I didn't care about anything. I just had to get out. But even now, even with all the locks and windows bolted shut, I still feel him. I don't hear the whispers anymore, but I feel them. I feel him watching. And sometimes, when it's too quiet, I wonder, is he still close? Sleep tight, if you can.